Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the portfolio. Before we get started, please drop a like, subscribe, turn post notifications on, and let's get to it. Gonna make a little quick update on the portfolio. The portfolio is very close to hitting all-time highs. The highest we've been in this portfolio was 93,200, I believe. Let's actually check it out real quick on the charts. The highest we've been was about a month ago. We hit $93,276, and we're about $700 off of that. And tomorrow we either will be significantly higher than we are right now or a lot lower than we are right now. The reason why is because it's my biggest holding. AMD reports earnings after hours today. It's already up quite a bit, 522. Still quite a bit away until their all-time high. I believe their all-time high was 580 at one point. 580. Let's actually see how high it went. It went to 584. So it's about a little more than 10% from its ultimate peak, about 10%. So we're going to see whether or not AMD skyrockets after earnings. We're about 4 hours away from that happening, so that will make the portfolio move significantly. And on top of that, guys, I have an option for AMD. Right, I bought this option on last month. Well, actually, not even. Well, yeah, it was last month, but not even that long ago. We bought it on July 28th. It's barely August 4th right now, so maybe a little more than a week or about a week ago we bought this. We already are up 33%, so I could sell it right now, but the main reason why I bought it was because AMD went all the way down to 450 at one point, and I was pretty sure that it may not go a lot lower, but of course it went a little bit lower, went to as low as 420, which that would have been an insane opportunity to buy. But I bought it one day too early, and now we're up a decent amount, but I bought it specifically for this earnings and maybe even next earnings, depending how good their guidance is. We may hold, but most likely I think I will probably sell this week, especially if AMD skyrockets up. If we see AMD to new all-time highs, I will most likely sell out of this position just to clear some of my margin, right? If I wasn't so much on margin right now, I'll probably hold on to this significantly for a long time. I see a potential where if AMD reports earnings and their guidance is so crazy and people can't believe how good the guidance is, that we may see AMD go 600 plus pretty fast, if not get close to 700 pretty quick. And if that happens, then this option may be worth a lot more, but you never know with the stock market. We may see AMD report insane numbers and insane guidance, and AMD might drop still. So you never know with the stock market right now. But AMD has that momentum, so I would I would I would actually be super surprised if AMD crashed. Right, but we're gonna see what happens. But that's my biggest holding right now. SoFi also reported earnings the other day. They did an amazing on their earnings. They basically beat on everything, and they're still sticking to their guidance. But the guidance is still very good, right? And SoFi bottomed out at 15. I was telling people, I'm like, this is a good time to buy. This is a good time. If you don't have a position in SoFi, this was a good time to buy. And look at just in the past week from the lows of low 15s, if you were just to buy in the $15 range, which you had a decent amount of time to do so, you could have been up a significant amount already, right? If you were to buy at those lows, you would be up 20% already. So I wish I had some more money to buy. I mean, this is my second biggest position. I would have a $25,000 stake into this. So if I see SoFi going into the 16s or anything lower than my average cost, I would like to buy some more eventually. But I'm not too sure if we'll see SoFi go lower than my average cost for a minute, unless there's something bad that happens in the stock market. But I will be ready. I wouldn't mind adding another $5,000 position into this to bring it up to even 30. Maybe I'll get maybe eventually have 2,000 shares. I think SoFi eventually will hit 40, $50 in the next couple of years. We'll see what happens. But this is the next big play that I have. My first big play was AMD. The next big play is this one. Another one I think was a pretty good buy was Celsius, but now it's up 3.6%. I think this is a good buy in the 27s, where we were seeing a couple weeks ago. We saw Celsius under 27 at one point. But I think Celsius is another good buy. I think they have their earnings soon as well. I think maybe tomorrow they have their earnings. Yeah, two more days in pre-market, and then they have earnings. So we're gonna see Celsius earnings. Hopefully, we see this one stay down a little bit more. I would like to build this position out to maybe $10,000, but you can't buy. I can't buy all at one go. I want to buy over time, right, to get a decent cost basis. Alpha has been going crazy for the portfolio ever since I bought it, and this wasn't even the lows. The lows were $49, so I was buying, even not at the lows, buying $5 or $6 up, so maybe 10 to 15% higher than the lows, and still we're up 53%. Didn't put enough money into this position, and that's gotta be the story of my life. I never put enough into these stocks, so that's the reason why I'm always telling people, just figure out a way to make more money to put into the market, right? Anything that you can put into the market is good, because the more you put in, the more you'll be able to get out quicker. So, I mean, we're up 53% in a relatively short amount of time. Pretty happy with that. But like I said, would be happier if I would have had $10,000 instead of just the 3 or 4,000 that I had into this stock to begin with. ServiceNow and Salesforce both jumping up, which is good, man. These stocks have been getting destroyed. I think we all obviously already seen a bottom on these stocks for quite a while, especially ServiceNow. Ever since they went those lows of $83, we've been basically bouncing off and making new higher lows. So $83 a year, then we see 84, then we see 87, 89, right? 89, maybe 90, and then boom, we see another low of 91. So we just keep going up a little bit at a time, which I'm happy with. Salesforce doing pretty well on this one. This one I didn't buy as low. I wasn't buying as much as I was buying in ServiceNow, but there was a time where you could buy Salesforce for like $150, right? You could have bought it for $150 at one time, and my average cost is $174, so not even close to the bottom. So you don't even have to be perfect with these buys, man. If you even buy 5 to 10% from the lows, you should be doing very well almost any position. Netflix is one of those stocks that you still could be buying a decent price right now, because the lowest was at $67 and still 72, so we're still pretty at the bottom of these. So we may see this one stay low for a little bit. Would be a good time to just slowly build your position over time. Maybe I will continue to do so. If we see Netflix continue to stay down in the low 70s, I'll probably build this one position out a little bit more, and eventually whenever Netflix goes on its run, whenever Netflix goes on its run, we may see this one go push back up to $100, and that would be a pretty good return right there. If you can get if Netflix goes to $105 in about a year from now, and you're buying in the 70s, that's a 50% return in a year. That's a really good opportunity. Shopify, another one that was making a huge run, 130 plus, right? And I was buying low 100s. Let me see, my average cost 110, right? And I think at one point you could have bought this one for under $100. So another one that you could buy for under 100, slowly recovering. Eventually we'll be back to where it was, I believe, long term. We'll be back to all-time highs of 180 at one point. And even then, we're still 50% away from that. So if I see any more weakness in Shopify, if I see anything getting close to my average cost, I'll put some money into this. Just whenever there's weakness in the market, just continuing to buy. I think Shopify is a good long-term play. And then Palantir, man. Palantir just an insane quarter, man. Insane quarter. Wasn't able to buy as much as I wanted to. Story of my freaking life, man. Wasn't able to buy as much as I wanted to, and it skyrockets up. You could have got this one for under $110 at one point, $107 last month, or about a month and a half ago. And now it's at 160. 160, man. Man, it's, like I said, it wasn't even getting close to the bottom. I'm already up 27%. I'm like, my return in just today is up more than my all-time return. So you could have just bought this one yesterday, and you could have made such a good return already. So Palantir is one to watch. We'll see if it can continue to move up slowly. or it will just crash back down like it did over here. It just goes up one day and goes all the way to 160. Specific is basically where it's at right now, and then just crash back down to 130, 120. So we're gonna see if it can stay up here or crash back down. Meta, right? Meta is another one that their earnings not that good, man. Not that good. The revenue is actually slowing down compared to last quarter. I think last quarter they had a 30+% revenue growth, and now they're in the 20s again. So how much lower is it gonna go? And they're obviously everything is just low, bad for Meta. It's like one of those quarters where we're gonna have to see how many quarters of these lows are gonna have until they can bounce back. Because eventually Meta will bounce back, but just how long does it take? Do we see it take just 2 quarters for it to bounce back? Where in this case we may see Meta go back down to low 500s. If it takes 3 or 4 quarters, we may see Meta go under 500. It all depends on on whether we see them cutting their spending down, right, and getting the profitability back up, or keeping their spend up. But we're gonna have to see their revenue growth increase. But we're seeing the revenue growth decrease, which is why the stock is not skyrocketing up like the other ones in the Mag 7, right? But long term, I think they will turn around. Just a matter of how long. So with this one, I'm patient on this. With this one, if I see 550 or lower, we'll buy, and then I will buy in increments of which it drops $25 at a time. So if we see 550, I will buy some. If I see 525, I'll buy some. If I see 500, I'll buy some, so on and so forth. So the lower it goes, the more I would like to put in. I would love to see Meta low 400s. If we see that, I think this might be a position in which I would put more money than I have so far into it. Because I think long-term Meta can be a huge. I mean, it's already a big company, but it could be way bigger. Because right now the only problem, like I said, is their spend, right now. And then we have Robinhood, another one that was skyrocketing, man. It was all the way up to like 120, and that's back to 90. So I hope there's a lot more weakness. I would like to see this one back in the 70s where my average cost is. I would love that. And if we do see Hood, even if Hood gets to low 80s, I would buy some, start buying, and make this a bigger position. I think Hood is a very great company. Obviously, I use Robinhood every single day. I deposit as much money as I can into it. I like it for the long-term investing aspect. They have a lot of different things. They always come out with new ideas, new products, testing stuff out. That's what you want to see for an innovative company, right? Testing new things. And I like the everyone that I know uses Robinhood, right? A lot of people use other brokers, but a lot of people use Robinhood, especially if you're beginning. If you're just a beginning investor, I think Robinhood's probably the best user-friendly app for investing, right? And then the prediction markets, if you like doing that type of stuff, a lot of people like doing that. So a lot of things with Robinhood, I think they are insanely innovative company, man. I like them, and for that reason, I would want to buy some more shares, right? Buy more shares of this company, and then we see the past two companies, the Mag 7 companies, that have been just destroying their numbers. Look at that, Microsoft up 26%. Man, I don't have any type of real money into this, but I'm up 35%, man. The percentages are good, but the value of money that I have in it, not that good, right? I only have about 2 shares at 366. Pretty good price, man. But look at it. Now it's about to hit 500. This end of this week, we'll see 500. Maybe the end of the day we'll see 500. Just didn't have enough money into this. I think Microsoft was a good buying opportunity when I bought it. Amazon, same thing, man. I was buying it at 230s, and look at that, we're up 20%. Another thing where I only bought 2 shares. And I think Amazon always a buy, right? Whenever you see weakness in Amazon, you just buy it. So I need to get my cost basis. I'll buy more of Amazon and more of Meta. Those two companies, I think, have to make them like top 5 positions in my portfolio. Whenever I see any significant weakness in the economy or the markets, any market crash, well, that's the money that I'm putting. Most of my money I'm putting into these 2 stocks, Amazon and Meta. But that's the overview of the portfolio, man. Gotta do that before we see a big upward move or big downward move, because we may not see $90,000 plus in a long time if AMD goes down. So maybe a couple, maybe 5 months. If AMD crashes, maybe like 4 or 5 months until we see these highs again. But if AMD skyrockets after earnings, we may just hit $100,000. One of my goals for this year. And if we do hit $100,000, we just hit 100K 5 months, about 5 months earlier than expected, which is crazy. So then we may try to make a move to push to 120, 110, 120K by the end of the year, you know. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.